Anyway.
By your command.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing tonight? Welcome to Get Down with Dave C. And I've got to mute myself on the other channel there. There we go. Okay. Already boomer in it. I forgot to X out of that one. How we doing, guys? How we doing, JT?
Hey, I'm doing great. You didn't boomer it that bad. Don't worry. Don't worry.
No, you know how it is.
Don't worry.
You can't turn the volume off on your YouTube screen until your intro stops playing.
Right.
And since there's a lag, you have to wait for it. And I've got two laptops going, as everybody does, right? So I've got I usually don't play the YouTube on my regular one because I don't want to hit the wrong X on something. So I'm actually going to X out of that, or just move this around here just a little bit here.
Yep.
So we can get this.
And folks, welcome. While he's getting set up, please make sure you smash like on this stream because, you know, I'm maybe a little ahead of myself. I think you're going to like this one tonight. So hail to Tim, FKHC 2005. Hail to Buddy Hepburn. And hail back to the host of this great show, Dave C.
Hello. I'm just trying to figure. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Buddy.
Sure.
FKHC 2005. Those are my Thursday night movie guys.
Thursday. I am horrible with accents, so if I ever try to do one, just start throwing virtual tomatoes at me.
Well, where's Dad Man here? He's forbidden from doing the Irish
or the French.
That. Oh, really?
He's got a whole list of countries he's not allowed to do accents.
Does he really? He was good at one. Where is he today? He was really good at one. I can't remember. I think he actually pulled off a Scottish one time.
Maybe.
Or something like that. He did really well, but he's forbidden to do my voice. He can't do that one. Okay, I guess we're set up. I
remember, if I'm remembering last week, they had captured one of these guys, right? One of the Black Panther cult.
Uh-oh.
And
hold on a second. I might have to X out of that. Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway, so we were T'Challa was trying to find another member of the Black Panther cult, and he's like, well, blah blah blah, he must be inside this mountain somehow. And there's this weird crew that's wearing yellow, they don't even look like berets, but like yellow mushroom caps.
Like some kind of helmet. Yeah. Like just weird.
And they have this uniform that lets them kind of phase through rock. And they kind of, did they boink Black Panther on the head, or did they get him with poison? I can't remember, but they subdued him.
They boinked him on the head, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. They subdued him, and then they're going to take them to their leader. So I guess in one way, he's going to reunite with Kyber Crystal.
There we go.
This is what I'm calling his friend Kyber.
Yes, Kyber. Kyber the Horrible, we're going to call him, right?
Yes.
Because he does very, very bad things to people, JT.
Yes, when I say friend Kyber, I am being a little facetious.
He does horrible, horrible stuff to people. He deletes their life force into a cube, like from the original Transformers G1 show. The energy cubes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very energy inefficient to transfer matter into energy like that. But hey, you know, I guess we'll just let him run with it for a bit.
Yeah. We've got some big news this comic as well, though, man. You might not know this because I try to remember to ask you, have you read this yet?
No.
Okay. I had forgot about this when I read this like 2 years ago, or when I read it when I got it back a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to I noticed about this. You might not notice it really, but here's the cover. Not much going on, but I like that cloud. I like the face in the cloud, though, the Voldemort stuff going on there.
Sure.
But it's a giveaway, right?
Mm-hmm. Is it?
Oh, kind of. It's kind of like a foreshadowing. It's a weird cover based on what I know because I read it like 2 hours ago.
Okay.
But there's big news happening in this this comic book. Notice the names there on the left, on the bottom left there.
On the bottom left.
There's 2 names on the bottom.
Bingham and Layton.
Bingham and Clayton.
Layton.
We're getting artist or Layton. Yeah, we're getting artist recognition for the cover now. Right?
Ah. Okay.
I'm like, okay. And we got the guys with like you said, they're like just funny pastry chef hats, I call them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
What? Are you ready for this? What do you see missing from the intro page? If you can remember. And it's not at the bottom.
It's the 4 or 5 people that are the editor, the penciler, all of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's missing, right?
Yep.
All right, we'll get to that here in a minute. Then, so when we left, then when he was pulling the Wizard of Oz, going to check behind the curtain, right? Basically,
Right.
he was trying to find. They did something really weird. He threw that iron bar at the hologram or something, right? And it worked. It messed up the hologram, and you and I were very confused as to how that
Yes,
that works.
very
right?
much so.
But we just went with it, although it was just I don't know. It's just go with it, right? You don't have a choice. It worked. So T'Challa figures that this guy isn't real. He threw an iron bar or a lead bar or something through the hologram. It effed up the hologram. So he's searching for the Wizard of Oz, right?
Yep.
And they've got some demonstrative boxes here. Now, I don't know if that's the correct words, demonstrating what he's doing, right? First there was the nightmares that he was having because he has ESP. Well, he has telepathy, right? He has mind powers. He has like radar.
He has a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So he got better. Well, I don't know if it's better if you can handle the mind powers, right? But it didn't jack him up like the old boy did, right? Turned him into the purple monster thing, He-Man kind of guy.
Right.
I mean, rock, whatever.
Right.
And so they're going through what's happened to him. He got psychically enhanced. I guess I should just read it instead of trying to describe it. It would be better, right? The coffee hasn't kicked in, folks. I just started drinking.
He was physically enhanced.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, I didn't even finish the story backstage with you. So there's 6 of them in the box. They're $7.99. But if you go into Starbucks or anything like that, which I don't do anymore, because I get the mochas, they're $5-6. My favorite coffee place down the road, if I get the one I want, it's almost like $7.
Yeah.
You
might as well just save up and buy the damn machine yourself.
Yeah. I can get 6 of these.
Oh.
And then I added this chocolate stuff that I have for $8.
Well,
So,
I'm drinking out
good.
of my Michigan State Rose Bowl, 100th Rose Bowl victory mug from 2014. It's a long time ago now. I didn't realize it, but regular boring coffee.
Yeah. So I like this little action page, except for his face. What is that? I thought it looked like a little hand or something. I don't.
It's better than the weird male genital shadow that gets thrown on the forehead every single time.
I wish I could have asked Kirby why he did that, because we've picked it out a few times that when he didn't do it, it looked just fine. It's just his forehead. But everybody, here's your character reveal.
The reckoning.
Reckoning.
If you saw that on the one.
Yeah,
it's at the bottom of the other page.
Yeah, he brings it up again later. And folks, again, I will tell you, if you notice right down the middle of that screen, you see the line there. This is a double page spread in the comic. And that's why the lettering is so small. In fact, I'd have to put my glasses on to read it here instead of pulling out the comic to read it. But so T'Challa busts in and he sees this dude, and apparently he's huge. JT, very, very large. So that's why it's a double spread. But you can't tell that he's large from the angle, right? Well, they'll let you know about that here in a bit. But he's pretty gross, right?
Yes. So he was definitely doing the Wizard of Oz. I think he said that already.
Yeah.
On the right, he says, "It's a pity you shorted out my projected image, for it gave voice as well as form to Kyber, and I have much to discuss with you. Though perhaps you can provide less torturous means of communication."
Yeah.
They're going to telepathically communicate here on out.
Yeah, pretty much. You definitely got that part.
No.
And then he says that he's gigantically he's swollen up to gigantic proportions. I'm like, okay, I guess we'll have to wait to see. But now here's the bigger reveal. Looking down here at the credits.
Jim Shooter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jim Shooter's now the editor. He wrote the plot. And Kirby's not in this anymore.
Kirby's not in there at all.
Nope. He's not in there at all anymore. He's melting, yes. Melting.
I guess they did finally fry him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I looked it up. I didn't really have time to try to figure it out.
He had a transporter accident.
Yeah, I guess so, man. But Shooter
it says he's the result of experiments with matter transmission.
Oh, the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bad guy got he jacked himself all up.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do like the coloring and lettering here, and what should never be. They've got it monster. It looks like an old school monster lettering type, right?
Yes.
With the graffiti art on it. I kind of like that. It looks kind of cool. So who did Jerry Bingham did the art here.
And from the last issue, they staged a prison revolt and smashed through the containment glass by everybody hitting it all at once.
Yeah, and as you might suspect, because Black Panther ran off, what do you think happened after that?
Most of these people just got I don't know, red shirted, if you will.
Asses kicked.
Yeah. Yeah. The prison break is going to fail.
Yeah. It doesn't go too well for them guys. Because now Panther's not even there fighting. Now Kanata's there, but we know he's gotten his ass kicked about like 3 times now by these guys. And you know, the art isn't any different from these dudes. I'm wondering if
the hand is different. I can tell the shading in the hand is different.
A little bit. Yeah. Maybe the guy on the left here with his back to us is a little.
The guy on the right also looks much more 1950s, early 60s comics.
Yeah.
There is a shift. It's on these made up guys, it's not tremendous, but a lot of it has to do with the shading style, and some of these extras that they had to draw in don't seem quite the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And it says here the revolution is going badly.
Yes.
That was kind of funny. Like, that was a jab at some, old school books and movies, right?
Yes.
And so they're just getting annihilated here, getting their asses kicked. And there's Kanata. He's trying again. Poor guy. He really does try. He kind of like this dude. You know what I mean? He really,
Yeah, he kind of reminds me a little bit of like Lando.
yeah,
Maybe.
Lando. And he almost seems like he would be a good replacement for T'Challa, but he's not strong enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just not. He's not strong enough. But he's a good dude, or at least he stands up for people, or as far as we know, right?
Mm-hmm. But he does kind of remind me of Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah. And you mentioned the hand with the purple right here.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it back down for everybody. That's
with
a really good hand, isn't it?
It is.
These
But
are
I'm
good
saying
hands.
it's drawn differently than how Kirby does it.
No, just the six finger man. And I do not think you know what you're talking about.
You think they saw the 6 fingers and they were like, we're pulling them off?
No,
I have a heart. No. But
that's just a one-off faux pas there that we've seen very rarely.
Yes.
Like one little, remember like the shoes on the one character way back, like many issues ago, like 10 issues ago, you saw, and then you forget it later. But the 6-fingered man was pretty funny. I thought it was kind of great.
Now, I find it a little convenient that both of the people that were trying to get away, that are probably also the 2 most valuable people, were the ones that escaped and no one else.
It gets worse.
Okay.
As you can imagine.
Yeah.
There's no sense of, I'm not going to spoiler alert, but yeah. So good observation there, because the 2 most kick-ass guys are leaving. They're gone. But Kanata kind of realizes he kind of makes sense here though while he's doing it, because he's like, it's no bueno, dude. I gotta get out of here. At least one of us can get the F out of here, right?
Yes.
So even though it goes against us saying he's such a great dude, he realizes he's got some common sense to say, I gotta get out of here. This isn't
he is the thinker.
He's a thinker. He's being
this
realistic.
Bottom left here, they can traverse through any walls like ghosts, referring to the henchmen. Mm-hmm. Yet this place does have both hallways and doors. So what gives?
Yeah. Probably just for prisoners. Prisoner intake. Who knows? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And to keep people out of like you said, you wouldn't need doors and stuff if people could walk right through them, because they're not people. That doesn't really explain what those guards are. They're not holograms, but he did mention that even though he's a hologram, he can use physical force, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like a very bad poltergeist. Okay. A lot of talking, but they do a good job here describing on stuff what's going on. Like Kanata, like you said, he's leaving, but he's telling you, yeah, I gotta go because this isn't working out. And he runs down the hall. I'm trying to find T'Challa. He sees the door and he realizes, like, just like you said, JT, it had to be him because there's their door. Right. And somebody knocked it down. So it's gotta be him. So he's following along exactly what you said, because you're so smart, right? You figure these out.
Sure.
Yeah. But he thinks something's kind of wrong, and I like how he's like they drew him like all sweaty. He's like, man, yeah, I just got into a fight. I run it down the hallway. Oh man, there's a door over there. And he's all sweaty. Right? They pay attention to detail. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what's up with my mic. My voice doesn't seem like it's coming through to my.
I hear you just fine.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's coming through to my end of the into my headphones. I hear you through my headphones, but it's like I'm listening to the computer. It's weird. But anyway, I mean, sometimes it does weird stuff like that. But Kanata's sweating it. He goes in. And Black Panther's in like Jedi mode here or something, right?
Hmm. Yes.
He's in like bum shum bum shabam. And by the sacred idol. What the hell is this? Right? Pretty much. Now you get to see how big Kyber is. So I like how they drew that, because remember, time and space is a big thing for me. If you're going to sit there and say, I'm huge, well, you need to show it, right?
Yes.
Or like if you're flying around in a Viper and there's a planet, don't make the planet so, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously you do. Everybody else does, because you've watched this since Battlestar Galactica, and that was a big thing for us doing those. And yeah, they're just talking, right?
Right.
So they put the telepathic communion in red here, and Kyber's like, "Oh, one of the prisoners is interrupting us," and he's like, "What are you doing, man? Why are you here? He slaughtered all his people." And he's like, "Well, T'Challa's got something he's thinking about here." And he actually says we've been debating, but they don't really talk about it, JT, right?
Right.
I'm not so sure. I'm like, I wouldn't have even put that in. I would have just maybe said, yeah, him and I are having an argument about what's going on. And Panther's got something up his sleeve here. He's got an idea of something, but he turns his back on old boy, which isn't a good idea. Kanata's standing there going, "What? I don't understand. What the hell is going on here?"
Mm-hmm.
So, but Panther, he kind of lets on here what's going on, right, JT?
Right.
What he's thinking here. What do you think about that idea? Did you catch on to it? Right here in the middle one.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. I'll just give you a chance to read it. So people can look at it and read it. So in the middle here, Panther has this idea that the life force people aren't really gone completely. That's his idea. And I'm like, I'm not so sure about that, because I know you're laughing, right? I think you know where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't they have already been absorbed into that dude? So like he's holding on to thousands and who knows how thousands of people in there.
Yeah, no.
It's a little odd, right? It's a little odd idea, but that's what he's thinking, at least anyhow, right?
Yes.
But old Kanata's there. He turns his back on him, as we saw in the other one, and he gets whomped for it.
Mm-hmm.
You should never turn your back on somebody like that, right?
Right.
And then Kanata gets jumped again. Those guys just don't leave him alone, man. He can't catch a break. Poor dude. He's like, the uglies are here. So what are you thinking about this stuff so far? This issue? How it's going?
Not a lot happening.
Yeah. There isn't anything that's happened really, other than Panther is talking to the dude psychically, right? Because they all busted out. You remember that first dude who busted out probably didn't do too well through that glass door. But Panther's pissed because he turned his back. He should have known better. He tells himself, curse me for a fool.
Mm-hmm.
He thought to kind of stall the guy. But in the meantime, this doesn't really go against his character, because he knows the other people are fighting, right?
Right.
At least he should. But he does admit to himself that he got caught up into this whole philosophy talk and bringing in psychology and all this stuff into it, and psychic powers, and then he does start talking a little bit of crap here because he got hit in the back of the head, which is old school Panther, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he springs into action, JT.
Of course.
Of course, right? And they were using these red speech bubbles now.
Which are the telepathic ones.
Yeah, the telepathic ones. So as we've seen before, the bad guys and the good guys always like to talk trash to each other. But it doesn't last too long. Kyber mentions that, yeah, man, I'm pretty strong, dude. Which we already knew that. You can see how big his hand is here, though. It's a pretty big dude, right?
Right.
And the artwork's not bad, right? It's pretty good, right? I mean,
mm-hmm.
The background, though. Did you notice the difference in the background? They just make it solid colors. You're not getting any plants here, right? I haven't seen any of my plants.
No, you have not gotten one plant yet.
Yeah, that the Justice League and changing its demo. Oh, that's like, yeah, RRT.
Oh, hey, RRT and Z. Yeah.
Yeah. Frodo. Yeah. Let's see, give you a good hail there, buddy. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, you don't get any of that detailed background art. I just kind of noticed that before. I'm really noticing it now. But you still get a lot of descriptive action movement, the swooshing that we always like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you can tell Panther dives out of the way. There's the shards of stuff flying around. And you get at least two of the guys with their pastry hats. I'm just going to call them pastry hats from now on. Pastry. I don't know how.
I mean, that works, right? What else are they? Mushroom caps?
Mushroom caps. Yeah, that's a good one.
I really don't even know.
Yeah.
At that point.
And then the bad guys are like, wow, that guy's fast. Like, okay, yeah. And you get some action squares that Kirby was really good at. That was some of the things I liked about what he did. He really made the action. You could feel it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to Kyber's dismay, the servants soon learn. Wakandian proverb, fortune found may soon be regretted. I'm like, okay. Not much about the action. I guess I get what he's saying there. And then he's talking about others are eager to learn too. And you're like, oh, okay, I get it. It's just a buildup of that. Panther's just going to kick these guys' asses again, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this before. And it's kind of like, okay, yeah, we have seen it before. He's just beating up the bad guys, and they try to taser him again. But it didn't work this time. Pretty close to the undercarriage there, though, right?
Yes.
I thought
he got lucky. He got lucky.
Yeah, a missed opportunity here, JT. What do you think? Could have made a good, funny comment, you know?
He almost got James Bond and Goldfingered right there.
Yeah. Oh, right in the Kanickies. Way to go, a-holes. If you remember the
I like that he's bowling with them. That is kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, he threw one guy into the others. Yeah, I mean, so we get a lot of action here. And that laser thing's pretty powerful. Remember, I knocked him on his ass last time. Tasered him pretty good when they first used it on him. But he almost gets it in the old cojones there.
Mm-hmm.
He does the old splits-a-roosies. And now you can see how big this dude is again, because Panthers actually jumped on top of him. So you're getting lots of action here. And Kyber's trying to talk a lot of trash. But if you notice, JT, Panther's not really talking to them about kicking their butts like we normally get.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like talking to himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you catch on to it?
It's his thought bubble more than anything else.
Yeah, excellent. Excellent way to put it. It's kind of his thought bubble. And although he's doing a lot of talking, we're not getting what we're used to, the back and forth between good guy, bad guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to kick your ass. No, I'm going to kick your ass. right?
Right.
You feel my power. No, you feel my power. It's just that he's kind of talking to himself here. And he's like, I could spend all day battling these dudes. And we're like, we know, right?
Yeah.
Any comment on that so far? I kind of figured you would catch on to this. That we're getting lots of action, but it's only there for action's sake, right?
Yeah.
No background art. Do you keep noticing this now, right?
Right. It's very it's very like a pure white background.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just a color palette. That's all they do. But Panther does mention, I could do this all day. He's pulling the Avenger. I can do this all day long. And
he gets them to shoot the grate out.
Yeah, he's got to figure out something here because it's just going to keep going on and on and on, right? They don't really talk about the henchmen. Are they hologram guys?
I think they might be.
Yeah. That's what we figured out, right?
Right.
Hey, Lady V. Good to see you.
Hey, Lady V.
Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Give you a good hello. Hello there, Lady V. So Panther is smart, and he uses his smartness, and he gets those guys to blast the vent open. Although I'm not so sure he couldn't have just double kicked it open. But hey, anyway,
Right.
I like the idea that he got them to do it. That was kind of cool, right?
Yep.
And we do get some background art here, because he's actually hanging on the grate. So it's a pretty good little shot of what he's trying to do here. And pew, 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 pew. Where's that, man? Get lots of pew, pew going on.
There is a lot of pew, pew in this one.
Sack, plow, splat. Classic comic stuff here, right? I'm going to go through here and I'm going to let them help me. Blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, he's escaping. How can anybody move so fast? That's just classic comic writing. So you got to like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you do get the shards, right? I like that when they're hitting the wall, pieces of stuff are flying off, the swishing. So they're staying true to form here. Although if anybody's popped in, this isn't Jack Kirby anymore. But I'm wondering, JT, do you think he's using some of his layouts that are already done, especially Kyber here? I'm wondering.
No,
because
they would have credited him. They should have. They should have. I'll put it that way.
I'm wondering what the IP property is about this kind of stuff. It's Marvel's now, right?
Yeah.
So you would think that they would say some of this stuff is Kirby's. But the artwork for this guy looks like this would be Kirby, but these guys are talented. I like some of the stuff they've done here.
Notice we have not seen T'Challa's face once.
Not once.
We're like halfway through, thereabouts.
Almost more, probably.
Yeah, maybe a hair more. We have not seen his face.
So, yeah, if this isn't Kirby, Kyber here is pretty gross, and it looks like the cover, doesn't it? So I kind of want to agree with you that this isn't Kirby at all. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So Kyber, he's pretty gross, dude. He's like, fools! The Panther must be located and killed.
A pretty mean face.
Pretty mean face. I'm like, no, that's not right, though. He doesn't want him to get killed, right, JT?
Right.
So a little bit of a plot error there, right? Wouldn't you think?
Yes.
Not to be picky, but it's not what he wants. That's the whole basis of the whole plot is not for him to be killed, right?
Right.
Okay, I just want to make sure you, because you know what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else knows. Is why? No, he doesn't want to kill him. He wants to zap his life force out, which is pretty grotesque, right?
Yes, he basically wants to eat him.
Yeah, like from the movie Life Force. Maybe I should play that one. Ooh, that's a good one Thursdays. I wonder if I'll get booted for that one. Even Cosme. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, right, everybody?
Yes.
I brought it up a couple times. I've been tempted to try it, see what happens. I'm sure somebody will complain. But anyway, so he's in the duct, the UCT.
Yes,
right?
the duct work.
The duct.
And he's like, why is no one following me? There must be some materials they cannot pass through. And I'm in something that's made from that. How you would deduce or conclude that, it's a bit of a stretch for me.
It's a bit of a stretch because doesn't he already know one thing does mess with the hologram? At least it did for Kyber, right? You remember we talked about it earlier. He said that he threw that iron pipe through the Kyber hologram.
Right.
So he should have already kind of knows. I do like how the grate reflects on him here, though, with the lighting.
Yeah, that's nice.
Kind of cool. That's kind of cool there, right? That's thinking. I like that. I like that outward thinking.
He does only have one leg in the previous one.
Yeah, Jerry Bingham is the
Where's his other leg?
Yeah, his other leg is missing. It's completely gone. But I like the outside of the box thinking artwork. It's like a good camera angle in a movie that you don't expect, like something under a table or an overhead view, something weird, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. But yeah, his leg is missing. And then you get the view of him inside the grate looking out. So that's kind of cool too. And yeah, JT, you're completely correct again. That
what can I say?
That's what he says. He says, I gotta put the theory to test here, but he doesn't exactly describe on what he's figuring. Oh, wait, yeah, the iron worked on Kyber. Maybe I'll use this iron grate. You know what I mean? To kind of lead us on.
It's you're taking an awful risk, Fader.
Yeah, so you would. Well, I can tell you why. Well, you'll see why he does it. Because, you jump out of safety. So he only jumps on one dude here. That's why. If you notice this.
Mm-hmm.
The other guys are leaving, so he catches the one dude slipping.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And it worked. So that's why he did it. Right.
But I mean, he really didn't know if it was going to work.
No, he didn't. He did not. Which is quite odd. But it worked, and I'm thinking, why even bother if they're leaving? Because he knows for certain they can be defeated, but now he's got to run around and find the grates.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. He does mention, though, that he talks about that nightmare. Remember that nightmare he had?
Yeah.
A couple issues ago. It actually goes back to 11. And I'm trying to remember the one. Well, he was fighting these guys talking about Kyber is what it was. It was almost like a premonition. And that's exactly what he says here. It was a premonition of my psychic powers. And yet, not much is still going on, is it? Really?
He's running around hallways.
Yeah.
Punching people.
Yeah. And
so
he does mention something here, though. He's trying to think about how his telepathic abilities he got from the vibranium mound aren't really. He's trying to figure out what's going on with that. I'm like, I'm not sure why, but
I mean, everybody should know that when you use the Force, visions and premonitions can be cloudy.
Right.
Future the cloudy. Cloudy.
These aren't the
future
henchmen
is.
you are looking. Yeah. These aren't the henchmen you are looking for.
Yeah. So who cares if it's not totally accurate? I don't.
You're right. Right.
what point would there be in making the comic the way it is anyway?
Yeah.
So he's like, that door has to go somewhere important. So he has to go in.
So now
he makes a lot of interesting suppositions. You realize he's assumed like 2 or 3 things in a row. He assumed that they could escape, and they did.
Well,
he assumed
through the door,
or they broke out of the pen.
They broke out.
They broke out because this is in a period of like 5 minutes. Okay, he assumed, and they broke out of the pen. He assumed, and he was able to subdue the henchman. And now he's assuming there must be something through the door, and that the door's not locked, and that he can get through, and that there's something worthy on the other end. It's not the janitor closet.
Yeah, so he attacks all 3 of them without any grates to help, right? So he beats them up, and then he jumps into this door, which leads to nothing. It does lead to the outside, though.
Yep.
You do get an outside door, but it's at the top of this, I wouldn't even say mountain, barren peak in the middle of the trackless ocean. I'm like, wowzers. So that's a pretty good hideout, really, right?
And he's such a great astronomer that he knows he's in the southern Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And he's like, this must be the only way out of this place.
And he makes a few swift mental calculations, fixing the exact coordinates. Okay, you can't do that.
No, he wouldn't unless he's looking at the stars or something. And then
no, even then you can't do that.
Yeah, it's an odd place, but a great evil guy villain place, though, I would think, right?
It is. It's a cool evil lair. Thank you. Black Panther also doesn't have a mouth.
Morbius, yes, buddy. That's
if
pretty
you
much
scroll
Morbius.
A little bit lower. You see what I'm saying? I think I was a touch ahead. Sorry.
No worries.
He's saying I'm in the middle of the trackless ocean, the South Atlantic Ocean, judging by the positions of the stars in the dawn sky.
Yeah. So
T'Challa makes a few swift mental calculations, fixing the exact coordinates of his location. You can't do that.
Yeah. And then he calls on the great eagles of Gondor to help her, the great eagles of the Westfold. I'm mixing genres there. I mean, I'm mixing.
Well, yeah, IPs. No, but that's what it looks like. Also, he just he's a colonizer now. He just declared this non-contiguous piece of land to Wakanda to be part of Wakanda. He's an imperialist. He's gonna start upsetting some people. You know.
I'm kind of wondering why that's important right now. That he claims this rock in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean when Kanata's down there and all those other people are getting their asses kicked. And I don't know if you looked farther up ahead.
I really haven't.
Really bad. Everybody.
I would just like to say that either the British or the Americans probably have already laid claim, and he's making a big mistake.
So here's something kind of funny that would have been pulled off in a modern day comic if it was Deadpool. If it was Deadpool Black Panther, and I just thought of this. Since he doesn't have a flag to stake in and say this is what.
Oh, then it doesn't count. Yep.
Well, he's a cat, right? So he probably marked his territory.
I don't think that counts.
Well, he is a cat, right? It's a cat called.
You need a flag.
He marks his territory off screen. Yeah, that's how he does it, folks. So clip it. They don't show the part where he, because he's a dude, he raises up his leg and marks his territory. Squirt, squirt. There you go.
I thought he has a Wakanda flag underwear, and he takes it off and puts it on a stick on top of the mountain.
Black Panther underoos.
Yeah.
He's probably wearing Aquaman underoos, to be honest with you. Namor. Namor.
Namor.
Yeah, not Aquaman, but Namor underoos.
Yeah.
And he leaves them hanging on that. He lays them hanging on that tree down there at the bottom, the flap in the wind. And
exactly.
Then he marks his territory. That's great. I'm glad I thought of that just now. Because after he just called the eagles from the eagles from the Lord of the Rings to come save him, or the seagulls at this point, right? Yeah, pretty outlandish and funny right here that we could make something really, really funny out of this issue, because what we see next kind of goes back to what we're making fun of, all this stuff that he's just running through the grates. He's fighting these guys. He does realize it's futile to keep fighting these guys, right? They don't stop coming. He mentioned it earlier. They just keep coming. They keep coming. And in the meantime, you had brought it up earlier. Everybody else is getting their asses kicked, right?
Oh, yeah. They're getting shoved into the deatomizer.
Yeah, dude.
You can see that.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you can see that. And he's like, oh, no, help. And Kanata's there. Lando Calrissian says, you murdering scum, you'll pay for this, you'll pay. And then the henchman, great line. If so, fool, you'll never see it.
Right, because we're baking croissants.
Yeah.
JT, this is pretty brutal, man. The next line he says over here to the right, read that one. Bottom one with the yellow.
For there now remains only one prisoner to meet his fate in the energy converter.
Dude, they threw all of those dudes in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All of them. And look at the picture back to the left. You got that guy's feet coming out. Like,
they could have deleted some of them, I guess. We never saw what happened.
Put all of them in there. And then they had this one. It's hilarious and grotesque at the same time, because this dude's feet are hanging out. Like, you ever see like movies like Fargo or Tucker and Dale versus Evil, or any of those horror movies where they go through the tree thing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the wood chipper, basically.
The wood chipper, yeah.
That's yeah, it does kind of have a resemblance to that.
But look what the dude's got here in his hands, next to the dude with his feet.
He's got like a pole that he can. It's probably got like a flat end on it. Yeah, it does. It's got like a round flat end on it to like push them in like a ramrod kind of thing. Like they're loading artillery pieces.
Yes, he's shoving the guy in there. Oh, this is so brutal, man. So they delete every last one of them.
Yep.
And Black Panther's over there claiming territory. You see the problem I have with that now is?
Yeah.
It's not like Black Panther to be wasting so much time
in so many people's lives on himself.
Considering that all these people are getting deleted now.
You bring up a really dark point, Dave.
Yeah.
He used all those people and didn't rescue any of them. Now, did he?
Not a one of them.
And he's out there claiming land, callously annexing land.
Yeah, like who would give a shit about that place? Here he is, like you said, I claim this for Wakanda. What the F are you talking about? I didn't really catch on to that until after I saw this.
You just used all those innocent people.
Whether he meant to or not, he did. That is not the Black Panther that we know.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
He would not have been doing that, especially when his boy who's only lucky enough to be last, right?
Right.
Because the writers said so. They could have thrown him in there, and Black Panther could have came back. And how about this?
Sure.
How about this ankle?
And once you knew how to detain them, you didn't go back for all those other people. You made a choice to go out that door.
Yeah, you made a choice to go out the door because 3 of them were standing there, and you made a choice to fight all 3 of them. And instead of going back to help, you went out some door. And then, like you said, it's the South Atlantic, and there's nothing around. You could have said, well, shit, there ain't nothing here. Let me go back.
Yeah.
No, he's out there marking his territory. Come on, man.
But he conveniently comes back for Kanata, the last one. Yeah, just in the nick of time.
Imagine this plot angle. Here's my conspiracy theory that they could have done. They would have had Kanata be deleted before, and when Panther came back, realized that he was screwing around and his friend is gone.
Yep.
Then, and I'm only saying this because of what Panther does, because I did read it again, and I do remember some of this, not a lot of these, but some of it. They're getting ready, and there's your poll with the end thing. So I wanted to show that to you here. You see him holding it?
Yep.
They're getting ready to shove him into the OVEN, and I only spell that out because of the algorithm type stuff.
It's just what I feared. Bitch, you didn't fear anything. I'm sorry. I gotta call him a bitch. He didn't fear anything.
Yeah.
In a final fit of desperation that even though I assumed 3 or 4 other things, I didn't assume that they were going to mass liquidate or delete the other prisoners.
He didn't assume that at all, right, JT?
Right.
He's so smart that whoever was thinking about who T'Challa really is as a person, right? His high, very extreme high moral values, right? We've seen that before, right? Only under extreme circumstances does he not care about some people, like the mobster gangster guy. He didn't care too much about that dude. It was over and done with anyway, right?
Yeah.
In the plane. And you're so correct about this. He says they must be avenged, and you're like, well, dude, it's kind of your fault.
Yeah. You're the
Thank you. This isn't what he would have done.
Oh, not at all.
Now,
not at all.
Whether or not he was delayed on purpose and everybody got deleted, that's a different angle, right? Like he didn't get there in time because something happened that prevented him from being there. The only person that prevented him from being there was himself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have a real problem with all that, with the I'm going to mark my territory. I just thought it was kind of stupid, but we made fun of it. I said, well, I can make fun of that later. That's kind of a funny thing, until I got to this part. And then I kind of got a little upset.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm mad. This is not looking good. This is not looking good. So then he gets in a fit of rage because,
well, he wants to avenge them. So let's keep right now. That's his angle. He's an avenger.
A fury they cannot stand against, even though they were perfectly able to do that earlier. But because Black Panther's mad now, they will just crumble.
And how many of these henchmen dudes has he kicked the shit out of? And he literally,
their numbers are many.
Does that.
If you scroll down to the bottom of this page, and though their numbers be many, they are truly outmanned.
Yeah.
Somehow he knows that's the last one.
I don't know why he would know that, considering they've never stopped coming after him ever. And he said that before. So the continuity, it doesn't make sense.
And in the very next thing, it'll be seconds before more arrive. So why are you taking a whole
where do you see that?
to the right.
I missed that.
See, in the
Yeah,
middle,
looking
this
right
is
at
the
it.
last one, he thinks. To the right, it'll be seconds before more arrive.
This is the last one. Arg. It'll be. Oh, dude, yeah, good catch. Oh, look at his underwear. He wears underwear like Superman, right? You know that
On the
right?
outside now.
He wears his underoos on the outside of his costume. Yeah, dude. What a continuity faux pas. This is straight up. It's the last one. It'll be seconds before more arrive. Okay, that's bad.
Just don't have the middle in there. Anyway. So let's just keep going, Dave. This got me angry now.
Wow.
Here they come. Get him before he destroys the converter.
So not only was that the last one, he takes that guy out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more coming through the door. Which the door they don't need to come through.
And
right?
He knows through his psi senses that the e-globe, which isn't a globe at all, or from the internet, but whatever.
What happened to energy cube from the last?
No longer it no longer contains the mental processes of the converted prisoners.
No, I read this earlier. Let me read this again, JT. Sorry. The charge e-globe. That makes no sense. Like you said,
it's not a globe.
It's not a globe. It's a cube. It's a power. It's just the cube that holds this power, the source in there. That's all it is. No longer contain. It's okay. Wait, I read this before, but I didn't catch this either. No longer contains the mental processes. Okay, keep that in mind. It says no longer. I missed this. I missed this too.
But they never said that the mental processes were transferred during the matter energy conversion. And why would they be?
It's only their energy because the leftover particles they just let whisper off into the wind. Remember that?
Yes. But they transmute them into pure energy, but they don't because they're copying their life essence somewhere else, leaving non-sentient residual energy. Say non-sentient residual energy 10 times fast. Energy useless to Kyber, yet perfect for my purposes. So why are you converting them from matter into energy in the first place? Why don't you just have a soul stealer?
Okay, I'm getting like way more lost than I was when I first read this earlier, dude. I caught on to some of this and I was going to bring it up. That I didn't understand how he used the energy cube. That's an e-globe. I don't know what the F they're talking about there. And he used it to create a massive explosion in the room that he's standing in.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the original possessors of this life force can't be returned, I caught on to something more that I was going to bring up something about this part here. Definitely. Does this make any sense to you?
I think it's all bull. You know what? I'm not going to swear on your channel, but no, I think this is all bullshit.
This is stupid shit.
This is all bullshit.
I don't understand any of this. Worse than I brought it up.
This doesn't follow from the earlier issues on what the purpose of it was. And now that all they're doing is copying their soul, basically, they're removing the soul from the body.
He says it no longer contains. I missed the no part. The e-globe thing threw me off.
The mental processes, aka, well, it's either their mental processes, like their consciousness, or their soul, because they're not specific about it, and they say two different things. In the first one, they say the e-globe no longer contains the mental processes. So the mental processes went elsewhere. Then he says that their life essence has been transmitted. So those could be considered two different things. I guess here they don't. But now all of the actual physical transformation from mass into energy is throwaway. Then why are you doing that? Why not just have a device that transmits the mental processes out, and then you just...
Yeah, so there's nothing left of them.
Right.
Residual energy that they didn't even care about. The henchmen, remember?
Because this machine is stupid and pointless.
Well, if it did suck the life force out and then Kyber sucked the life force in, that's one angle. But to say now,
but why are you changing their bodies from physical into energy?
This is the most important part. I'm going to go hard on this now, because this is the most important part about this whole storyline, is it not?
Well, I'm just saying,
this is happening
in the previous issues, the whole point was to take their bodies and convert them from physical mass into energy. Raw energy. So that way you could power this beast. Now, you don't care about the energy. You are just taking mental processes out and throwing the energy away. Why are you spending all this time converting them into energy?
And where did their life essence go?
Somewhere else.
So how do you... Okay. This makes no sense.
Somewhere else.
This makes no sense to the Kirby issue.
Well, I know.
None.
None. This whole page is BS. They decided later on that they were going to write something in here where all these people would still be alive, so he could try and rescue them, but he can't really rescue them.
Okay, keep that in mind. Can you say that again? Say that again. That last part you just said.
Oh, that they wanted to write the story where they thought that he could somehow rescue everyone, but then he can't rescue them because they have no more physical form.
And what does he do with the cube right here?
He just throws it like a BOMB.
Yeah. And if the original possessors of the life force can't be returned, at least part of their being was instrumental in destroying their tormentors.
Yeah.
And it's a huge BOMB. It's not like
this
a pop
is stupid.
Rock.
He would destroy himself. He would destroy himself.
And
because look at the next scene. How do you survive that?
Thank you. Who else is in the room with him? Think about it. Who else was in the room with him?
All these other bad guys.
And?
Kanata
was standing right there.
Yeah, where is he?
Well, you'll find out in a minute. And I didn't think the blast resulting from the release of energy would be so intense. So he admits to making a mistake now? Why? You would never have done that if you thought the people were in there. That's my
how do you know you're not going to destroy the computer that they're all stored in?
The damn cube, and he uses it as a BOB. The cube that he's saying that you brought up, that it's supposed to have the people in it.
No, it's not supposed to have the people in it. That's the even stupider part.
Not now.
Originally, it was.
Yes. Did they not read the other issues?
No. Not closely enough.
Good answer. No. Oh, it's a good thing I'm not drinking alcohol. I don't even have any alcohol. I'm just drinking coffee. I'd be really pissed.
I want to switch.
This makes no sense.
I want to switch.
Can we just go hard on this comic now? Is this going to be an issue 14 from BSG?
This like jumped the shark, man.
This is terrible. Can I just say it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back so everybody can. I know. Hey, sometime we'll go with.
Are we reading this completely wrong, chat? Let us know. But
this isn't even the same plot line.
Right.
He just said, I beat up the last henchman. Here comes 6 more. Right?
Yeah. And by the way, the most important pivotal part of all your fight scenes are these 3 little skinny things right here. This is not Kirby pacing. You spend more time fist fighting.
Thank you.
In like the last 2.5 pages.
I knew you were going to say that.
And then you do this. Anyway.
It's the one thing I said. Well, I know JT's going to get pissed about all this fighting going on. It's just too much.
This is so consequential to everything, and you smash it
destroyed the whole plot line of the last 2 issues
in a half page.
And 3 little panes. None of this. You help me try to figure out if any of this makes sense to the last couple issues. And the most important plot line of the whole Kyber angle. Mm-hmm. And then he blows up look how much damage it did with his buddy standing right next to it. Look at the damage, dude. It blew up and tore the whole place apart into shambles, rumbles.
Yep. Isn't he supposed to be in a mountain, by the way? Wouldn't that cave the mountain in on your head?
Well, I thought it blew a hole in the damn mountain. Isn't that what it looks like? Because there's no background.
Right.
And yeah, there's Kanata.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, at least
you would have thought it would have collapsed on top of you.
Yeah, and then now there's a hallway, but he's like, "Oh well, at least Kanata's alive." That was a good thing. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, great. I mean,
good.
At least you saved him from the OVEN. Not that you cared about it, right? Yeah, yeah. I'm going hard on this one. Ooh, see, I almost dropped F-bomb. Somebody's getting an F, I could tell you that. And Kyber has done his worst. Now the battle must end one way or another. So I guess the henchmen just disappeared, right? Even though they just show up.
Right.
I guess that was the last one.
Oh, there's 2 more.
Oh, yeah, there's 2 more.
So it wasn't the last one.
And I guess that was a previous energy cube. E-globe. E-globe? Where the hell did they even come up with that? Jim Shooter. Here we go again, dude. Remember Jim Shooter from our BSG days?
Right. Now, this is stupid. There's a feedback impedance in the converter mechanism. The other terminal must have been damaged. Why do you care about the other terminal in the other room? What the hell does that have to do with what's in this room?
Is that an OVEN?
No.
Or just a terminal?
This is the plug, the socket where they're going to stick this thing in, flip those switches, and feed the energy into Kyber crystal here.
Right. Okay. That's what I thought. I wasn't sure.
So what it has to do with the deatomizer?
Nothing.
Okay.
And
abruptly,
so apparently these 2
Kyber,
guys,
I'm coming to end your deletionist reign.
And FKHC 2005, I do see your suggestions, and surprisingly enough, you might hate me for this. I've got to go back and rebuy at least 2, 3, and the rest of them. I've got TMP, the series TOS and TMP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do not have the rest of the other ones. I won't lie about it. Jerky around. I need to replace those. And whether or not I can get them downloaded would be a whole another different subject, because everybody knows I complain about that all the time, right? That some of my movies load up, some of them do not. But that is a great suggestion. Yeah.
So
JT. So apparently these 2 guys had walked off because they did outsource sourced out those prisoners, right?
Yeah.
And it would have been one at a time, right?
Yes.
So we can correctly assume at least that these 2 guys were just walking down the hallway with at least this cube, and while all the other action is going on behind them, right?
Yes.
Because we don't get a meanwhile box, right?
It just in the laboratory.
Yeah.
So sometime as he's walking down the hallway. Now, I'll point out that he's walking down the hallway and mysteriously discovers the location or the intent and knows that Kyber is still alive and knows how to work their intercom system.
Well, he pulls a Rambo. He pulls a Rambo.
And Dave, you were in the military, right? Do you ever announce to your enemy that you're coming?
Well, not unless when did Rambo
ruin the advantage of tactical surprise? Right?
No.
Wouldn't you want to study them for a second and pick his moment to ambush? Maybe have his friend over here, Kanata, recover so they can have like a flanking maneuver. Yeah. Or cover and run type thing. No. He straight up says, "I'm coming for you."
It would be funny if he would have done it maybe like earlier, but
right.
If you're trying to stop these guys from downloading this dude, you seem like you would hurry up and get down the hallway.
Yeah.
Instead of that, he takes his time, which normally would have been funny. He pulls a Rambo. "I'm coming for you, Kaiba. Get ready."
Or Rocky.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
And then Kyber's like, "Oh, that was T'Challa. Find him. Bring him to me in chains."
He has TDS, T'Challa derangement syndrome. You thought I meant something else. Nope, I kept it comic related.
You bring him in chains? That's a fail. That's a fail right there, dude. What are you talking
also
about?
Also, kind of maybe the imagery of that probably is not the best.
God, it's just a bad take anyway, period.
Yeah.
Right? Bring me him in chains. Your guys can't beat him up. Have we not established that for like the last 5-6 pages of fights?
Right.
So apparently, again, that wasn't the last one. Here comes 3 or 4 more. Oh, more of Kyber's men. Duh.
So he puts his eyes in that dude's eye socket, smashes, smushes his eyes.
He pulls a Ric Flair on him.
Yeah. Yeah, on the other one.
That would have been funny. Ric Flair was probably around in the late 70s, I'm sure. Woo! He could have done that.
That's a nice wrestling move.
Yeah.
On the other dude.
That was kind of funny, though, man. He gouges his eyes out.
Yeah.
Guy's like, So you give him that, right? That was funny. This is probably the funniest fight part, right? And then he's scissoring this guy here.
FKHC 2005. He says, "I see you."
Yeah.
Would be a hilarious line. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and he says it's almost easy. But I thought you beat up the last
plot
one
armor.
Like 4 pages ago.
How is it not easy?
Yeah.
Or coming through the wall because you had to announce you were coming. You couldn't let these 3 run past from up on your vantage point. So now you're going to have to fight more of them.
Yep. Fight more of them. And then he's talking about the nightmares again. Well, I wonder if the nightmares are somehow caused by what? Who gives it? What? What are you worried about your damn nightmare for, right? Aren't you in the middle of a fight? And have you noticed that he doesn't talk trash to them? Remember I mentioned that before?
Yeah, he's just thinking it.
He's just thinking. He's not. That trash talking is gone now, except for that right at the beginning. And now he doesn't talk trash to them anymore.
Right.
That funny stuff it's just not happening now. That was a Kirby thing, I guess. And he's just talking about how I'm gonna kick them, I'm gonna beat them up, and he's telling us that. Right? And more fighting. And more fighting.
And the Batman is curiously scroll down just a little bit.
Well,
because the middle of that page doesn't even matter.
Yeah, but now he's talking about how stealthy he is when he just jumped down on all 3 of them. Doesn't matter. Oh, look, it's the Batman.
The wasted middle of the page. Yep. Now the Batman enters.
Wait a second.
See on the left?
Wait a second. So, yeah, the Batman.
What's that
comes
shadow? That looks
He's
like the Batman.
He's in the hallway. Takes that guy out. But this henchman doesn't even see him. He's standing there looking at his buddy who has 3 legs. Oh, no, it must be his thing there. Okay, never mind. But then all of a sudden, T'Challa runs back down the other end of the hallway, climbs all the way up this wall. But aren't they in a building?
Yeah.
So there's no wall there. I mean, there's no top of that wall there. That would be the roof.
Oh, who knows? Not? Maybe they're in a cavern in the mountain.
All right, back to Kyber and inside the lab. Yay, we get something here. Cool.
I just want to know where Batman was for one little piece there. Is that just to show that Batman's watching?
I guess, dude.
I mean, right?
Right?
Yeah,
I think even Batman would be like, okay, you know what, man? It's time to get Kanata and just go start swimming because I'm tired of this shit. Right?
And inside the lab, why is it so quiet? I need my energy. Feed me.
I'm hungry. I need more souls.
Well, you just ate like 50 of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's just the ones so far that we know of, right?
Yeah.
He got a couple more. Like you said, he just got a couple more a minute ago, right? Although he did say it was delayed. And here we go that I was referencing the BOMB part. There are no more guards, Kyber. So Panther walks in and he unscrews the E-globe from the machine that was in there. That's what this one is, right?
So this is what he threw the last time.
Well, the 2 guards had one. He destroyed one that was on the machine. Yep. And the 2 guards had one that they apparently had been walking down the hallway unbeknownst to them of what's going on behind them. So I'm only assuming
what is said here. You scroll up just a wee bit. There we go. My energy globe, my E-globe. You must let me have the life force or I'll delete. You won't let me expire, will you? And then if you scroll down, because we have to do tall shots here, we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
What about those within the vessel? Now, wait a minute.
Here we go. Go for it, dude.
They're not deleted, and you know that. Their life minds are intact within that globe.
Wait.
What?
Wait, that's not what he said a couple pages ago.
That's not what you said 3 pages.
It's a complete opposite of what he said a couple pages ago. And it was so bad that he used it and destroyed it.
Uh-huh.
Right? Is it like 3 different people are writing this?
This is like an FU.
Are we crazy here?
This Am I is like an FU.
Pill? I'm going to Will Ferrell this. Am I taking crazy pills? From Zoolander, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Is it like 3 different people wrote 2 pages and then somebody else
how
wrote 2 pages?
How do they end this little convo? And when you hunger again, when you absorb everyone, what will you do? Start breeding people to feed on? Is that your plan for human existence? Well, you don't understand. It's like paradise, eternal, with none of the problems of individual existence. That's a bunch of nonsense. No loneliness, no wars, no conflict. It's a great contribution. Well, I don't know if YouTube will allow me to say what type of word, something side, by deleting everybody in a deatomizer against their will. I don't call that paradise with no problems.
Well, it makes no sense when Panther has changed his mind 3 different times as to what's in the damn cube to begin with.
Right.
He just destroyed one, saying that there's nothing left but residual energy that he used to blow up the whole damn place.
This
and
is an
then
FU.
walk off like it was no big deal, and Kanata's just laying there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's like, "Oh, the cube, it's got them in it." No, it doesn't. And then Kyber says, "Well, they're part of my consciousness." Who? It's just energy. Are they real people in there? Now we're going back to the fact that Panther's just gonna
And Panther
have
said their life processes didn't reside within that.
So yeah, now they tell us there's more than one person each for each cube, right? There's individuals in here, which we just established that they said weren't in there. And now he's going to do, just like you said, he's going to go all the way back to Wakanda to try to help whoever's left in there.
The only way you could make this work is you absorb them in machine A, in the deatomizer, forward the energy of their soul over an electrical grid, some kind of circuit, to machine B over in the lab, so that way he could eat it next to machine B, but have the energy separated out, but you use the same containers and they look exactly the same. I mean, I'm having to stretch so far.
Well, no, you're not.
The easiest answer here is they just gave a giant FU to everybody.
Yeah, and he does leave this dude to die. That's fine. Who cares? This thing is.
I wouldn't. His henchmen are going to come back.
Yeah, why not?
He didn't destroy the facility. Island. He didn't make sure that this guy's reign of terror was done.
Nope. It doesn't show it, does it?
For all he knows, these guys that can go through walls are going to come back again in a few minutes.
So it ends with him just walking off with a cube that has nothing in it. Except some explosive thing, apparently enough to blow up a whole room to pieces.
Yep.
But the people aren't in it. Or are they? Or then they're in it. Or they're not in it. And they are in it. And then he doesn't do, like you said, we don't even get one pane or a couple of panes, PANE, of him blowing up the whole place and him and Kanata on a boat or something.
Yep.
Or like Kirby would have had some kind of copter, right?
Yes.
Some kind of jet copter to get the hell up out of there.
With the mountain blowing up in the background. Thank
you, JT. Now that would have been awesome. Maybe next issue, but it says here the Panthers in New York with the Avengers. And I'm assuming that we don't get the fact that he blows up the island or anything. He just lets that guy sit there. And you made an excellent point about, well, aren't the henchmen still going to come around and help out? I mean, how are you just going to let the guy? Yeah, eventually he'll fade away, but can't the henchmen just go get more people? And then fix and just build a new machine? Maybe. I don't know, dude. Blowing it up and then having them off in the distance would have been, just like you said, a good way to try to round out the nonsense.
Right.
And we do get introduced to everybody to make things better for the last two issues, at least one of them, Law, who's a very familiar character to the Black Panther universe, right?
Right.
If you know. Okay, man. Dude, that was terrible.
Something tells me we're not going to get a good resolution in the next with 2 issues left.
Well,
right.
I can remember some of it. I don't know enough to let on. Claw is a good character. How they do it here, I don't know, but they definitely screwed the pooch on this one, man, badly. It was bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
The plot line, the only plot line for this whole Kyber thing got completely reversed like 2, 3. I lost count of how many times it went back and forth against itself from page to page, not even page to page, from one scene to the next. Continuity out the window, plot line out the window, common sense out the window.
You know what they say about assuming? They make an ass out of you and me, and that's, well, they just made an ass out of T'Challa.
Yeah.
He assumed for the plot how many times? 4, 5?
Well, you took this quintessential high-level moral character about caring about people that he'd risk himself to do it and completely destroyed it.
Yes. In one issue.
In several pages.
The second you take Kirby off. This is what happened.
The second you take Kirby off, the more he's more interested in pissing off to mark his territory than to go save people.
Yep.
That's terrible.
I don't know why you'd want to be in the Avengers at this point.
Would the Avengers want you worried about you?
Yeah, I doubt it.
That you're sitting on this mountain that has nothing. It's nothing but a lair. That's all it is. There's no territory, dude. What territory is he talking about? I claim this for Wakanda. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Right.
Right? That is not T'Challa. And the only time he might have said that is if back in Africa, where Wakanda might have had a spat with somebody or another territory, and they take over not because they were being aggressive, but they defended themselves, right? Or let's say a neighboring area had a Kyber guy in their area and they had to go say, well, we would never attack other people, but this dude is sucking the life force out of people. He's murdering people, right?
Right.
So we got to go do something. And we claim this territory for Wakanda now. We're going to change the way you do things because this dude's got to go. Right? Because he's so horrific.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't even stick to their own writing from pain to pain, as you pointed out. The henchman thing. That's the last one. Here comes 6 more.
Yeah. You could tell I was done with that nonsense, like halfway in at best.
Yeah. And I knew from looking at this one that you could have wrote this issue in like 4 pages.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I mean, would you like me to give my review?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you just said, you could write this entire thing in 4 pages. There is so much wasted space. You heard me say it doesn't matter. Just keep going. It doesn't matter. Pointless. Yep. 4 pages at most in Kirby Land. They spent more time needlessly fighting, creating a problem, only for them to solve it a page later. Not making any sense because they're not consistent later on. Using the mysterious metal, that was just a stupid thing, and they had him assume the solution to get himself out of it, instantly neutering the enemies.
Every time.
Every time. Every time. Also, I'll point out, the whole going outside came to a bunch of nothing. It amounted to nothing. It only helped to ruin the character by proving that he didn't give a crap about saving all those other people in time. He had no urgency. He knew what the stakes were, and he chose to do nothing, only for him to feign worry later on about all these other people. I still don't believe in the last 2 issues that we're going to get a solution to this problem. And what are you going to do to quote unquote bring them back? You don't have any information about what they even look like. If there are people in there or if there aren't people in there. I choose to believe there aren't people in there because Black Panther said so with his magic psionic abilities that you gave him to detect that.
And radar. He has radar to sit there. Remember, he says he can feel those guys coming through the wall. How many? We've seen that like 3 times already, at least.
Right.
Maybe 4. And yet
Right.
he's like, oh, that's the last one.
You also leave this facility completely intact with the villain and all of his henchmen at the very end. We don't even know what happens to the guy that you went there to rescue, which is even stupider. We know that by some miracle of plot shielding that he didn't blow up in this giant energy blast that somehow didn't cave the mountain in on top of you.
Right next to it.
Yeah.
Literally, JT. Yep. Right?
They all were. I mean, look, people don't realize if you throw like a grenade in a room, everyone's basically deleted. Unless you, I mean, I don't know, you're hiding behind a cement wall.
Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote cartoon. This is supposed to be kind of like a real. He threw the MOBLB right in Kanata's face.
But I'm saying something that's like much less powerful, like a hand grenade. It's not like the movies.
A hand grenade in a small room like
where
that?
You can be like 3 feet away and you're fine. No, like in a large room, everyone is gone unless like you are behind a cement wall or something, you know? So throwing this, which is supposed to be so much more powerful that it basically should have caved the mountain in on their heads, was a piece of junk. It was crap, and both of them surviving was beyond stupid. If Kanata really survives, the last we see of him is Black Panther not even talking to him.
He just checks his pulse.
He checks his pulse, doesn't talk to him, and then walks away. That's it. That's it. That was the dude you did this whole exercise for.
Yeah, and then takes the cube that's in the room with Kyber, and instead of just using that to blow his ass up, he changes his mind again and says, well, there are people in it, so I'm not going to use it as a BOSB. What the?
So something I don't have proof, but I think something happened, and they got Kirby off this book one way or another. Either he took himself or someone took him off. And I know these other names are big names. Somebody was a nincompoop here. And I don't think it was the artists. The art is good. Okay. The art is
the editor
good.
And editor-in-chief. I'm going to read it again.
The art's only so good because in this issue, T'Challa never takes the mask off. Every other issue, T'Challa only wears the mask when it's time to turn on the power of the Panther, right? This is different, and I could accept it if that was the only flaw.
Oh, it is Jim Shooter's fault because he did the plot. I was right. So he did the plot. Roger Stern's the editor, but Shooter's the editor-in-chief, just like he was on the BSG.
Yeah, editor or what?
Well, he's the chief editor, but he wrote the plot. So all the stuff. So we're not wrong.
I'm just going to go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead, Jim. Dave, and say the art was good. Everything else is so horrible. I give this an F. This is 14. You know what? I'll say it's worse than BSG 14. I'll say it's worse because it destroys the character that they spent 12 issues previous to this building, and it's stupid. The whole thing is stupid.
I'm going to steal something from Spock here and say it was completely illogical. This is an FF minus, other than, like you said, a couple of art things that were funny. The eye gouging, the laser blast between the old bolays, but they didn't make a joke about it. They
in the 5-hole.
They missed an opportunity back to that one issue that we missed, the bag punch. They could have made that hilarious, absolutely hilarious, like a Scooby-Doo. You remember I used to talk about that, right?
Yeah.
They missed out, but This was bad, man. And the whole, like you brought up, the whole going outside part was one thing, but it made it worse. The whole going outside,
so much worse.
What they did with it made the whole issue terrible. Then it got worse than that, because the biggest thing for these 2 or 3, I don't remember, Kyber went on for 3 issues.
Yeah.
Was the energy cubes.
Mm-hmm.
Not globe. I don't know. Is the life force cubes and the horrific thing. And then they deleted every single one of those people. And what did they do with it? He just throws one of them down to blow up the whole damn room, and right in front of Kanata's face.
Right.
So now that was one of the biggest points that you made. The going outside part really hits home because the cube thing happened after that. So now they shit on T'Challa's legacy as a highly moralistic person who cares about people under then, like I mentioned, serious circumstances. Like he walks off on Kyber, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty effing stupid. You're just going to let the guy sit there with all this. I mean, all he blew up was the one room. That was it. So basically, all they got to do is build another machine.
Yeah. Or repair that one. Yeah.
So unless we see that they destroyed the whole thing or allude to it in the next issue, this is an F minus FU.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you might be right about it being worse than BSG 14, other than the fact that no, it's on the same lines. It really is, of just being insulted as a person.
Right.
On the comic book level. The fact that they went from one pain to the very next pain, a complete contradiction. 100% complete contradiction to what they just wrote. Yeah. Not 2 or 3 pages later, which they did consistently as well. Right?
Yeah.
They did it several times from pain to pain. And I'm going to stick with the fact it seemed like to me, one person wrote 2 pages. Another person wrote a couple pages.
Yep.
One person did all that action for nothing other than the eye gouge, the grate, the art, when they did the grading, when the lighting was the light shone on his face and you could see the shadow on his face from the grate. That was cool. The laser, like I said, that was cool. Other than that, what did you like about this issue? Nothing.
Nothing. It's easy to answer. Nothing.
Unlikable.
Why try to dig for something?
It's hateful. I hated it.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely 100% no freaking sense. I mean, we can't even harp on it enough, can we?
Well, Panther didn't have a personality, really, other than arrogant, callous, uncaring. I mean,
he
really,
that guy in the eyes and didn't even make a joke about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
the chat made better jokes than the people did in the writing. So yeah, let's. I think we've made our beef on this one. So we're going to put 13 up there with 14, BSG, right?
Yeah.
And you're even going with worse. I think you might be right, because we're only talking about Boxy, a character nobody gives a damn about anyway, really.
Right.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, that's what we were just saying, buddy. So the artwork we pointed out, it was pretty good. The hands, oh my God, the hands were great, right? The hands were, especially the
art
page.
I did not have a problem with.
I don't remember any of the art being bad. In fact, I made
except for the plain backgrounds in some areas.
There you go.
I think they were running into time issues.
I think it's just lazy.
You think?
To be honest with you. Yeah, absolutely. Because it could be money issues that Kirby would not have had those plain backgrounds unless it was like a big sky or something, and he would have put something in it.
Yeah. A plant
Or something. A wall with some lines on it. The shading and the lighting on a lot of it was excellent. The hands were amazing. I thought the hands, especially on that one page, were really great. The rest of this was absolute dog shit. You said it correctly. It destroyed him in one issue. It's terrible. I don't get it. Do you get it? I mean, what's the thinking? Is he said it's just laziness, isn't it, JT? Or
I don't know if I can attribute motive, but the quality of what we got was an FU.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. Yeah, dude. So you had some stuff you wanted to show, and you can more than welcome to.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good. No, we were going to go.
You want to show a couple real quick?
No.
Just put it up on the camera. No, or you want to talk about it? What did you get though?
Oh no, I've just been reading a lot of Rippaverse stuff lately. So catching up on ISOM #2 before I go to #3. Then I'm going to read Blood Ruth. The reason I'm doing that is because Rippaverse or Rippazine #2 gave previews of Yaira #2, ISOM #2, and Blood Ruth. And so I don't want to read Rippazine 3 or any of them kind of out of order. It's almost like there's an order. The comics kind of relate to one another, like the characters and stuff. So yeah, but it's good stuff. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it was Nick Weiser had mentioned fanzine a while ago, and then I kind of was interested in Blood Ruth. But you might have missed this on. Oh, in fact, let's do some enabling real quick for comic books here, everybody. Hey, buddy, you haven't read any of that? No, I haven't. I'm going to be honest. I haven't ordered any of this stuff. In fact, with JT and Nick making recommendations, I was trying to think of catching up on. I have a couple of the. I read some of the Flash Gordon, the new ones that Nick and Ironcaster talked about on Friday nights.
Really? Okay. How was it?
Like 3 of those. It's a different take on Flash. It's kind of his old school. He has the sword and stuff, and he's actually captured. It starts off with him already being captured. Okay. None of that flying anywhere. None of that. You know what I mean? It dives right on it, and he's jacked up. I mean, he's seriously in a bad spot right off the bat, right off the top.
Sure.
Which is kind of cool because it's a different take. The art's completely different and that kind of thing. But I know Ironcaster and those guys, they love the Transformers run, the new ones. Flash Gordon, a couple of other ones. Yeah, but yeah, I assume that's what you meant, the Rippaverse ones. That's what I'm talking about too. I don't have any of those, but JT's enjoying them.
And Nick Weiser loves them too.
Oh yeah, and I think Mark might have them. Don't quote me on that one.
I don't know.
Maybe it's Ironcaster I'm thinking of. But let me show you what popped up on this site that I had shown you before on the Fleabay.
Okay.
And guys, wait till you see what these people are selling in their auction. Let me just click on recently. I might be dropping a couple $100 on stuff, JT, which I do not need to be doing right now, do I?
No, we all should save.
Yeah, there's a Fantastic Four run of 134 to 210, but that is not what I'm going to pull up. Oh, I didn't even follow them because I know I'm not going to even be able to afford it. So I got to go to the actual seller here and click on him. I found a couple spots. I found another auction, 2 of them. JT, it's got a lot of Star Trek stuff. You really need to follow these auctions. Just check on them once a week. I'll get with you later on it, but I'm going to click on this guy, Buddy, and then wait till you see this. If you were on Mark's show, FKHC 2005, if you're following Sunday, I showed this, but that show went on for like 4 hours, dude. So I have no idea what the timestamp would be. So I'm going to show it tonight. Let's go with ending soonest. I always click on that. And wait till you see the amazing Spider-Man stuff they're selling, auctioning here. Like, let me find it. Oh, actually, I can just do it in the search bar really quick. Sorry. Amazing Spider-Man. And it will, this was I was telling you about, JT. You can just type in the search bar. Wow. Look at, oh, okay. So it's
You got to share it out.
Yeah, I am. I'm just amazed at the price already. It's doubled in price. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. This is the main one. Let me pull that up. And then go to share screen, StreamYard. How do I kick that one? Kick that one. Present this one. Share screen, share screen. Oh, here we go. And then go to StreamYard. Got to add it. Look at that, folks.
21 to 100.
Look at the price. Sunday night, it was only at like 2,300. So it's doubled in price.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's a straight run. And they're only in fine to...
very fine.
Because I can go back to here.
Which honestly, fine doesn't really mean much to me, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. To get a run of 21 to 100, including like number 50 here, because I can scroll down, they'll talk about it. You get 80 books, right?
Oh, those are good plus. So
yeah.
To
get 50, which is for some reason a it's Kingpin, right?
Yeah, the first Kingpin appearance.
That is a key issue. Right? You know this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely a key issue for ASM. Buddy, are you looking at this? FKH, are you seeing this, man? So you get the new Black Widow, you get the death of Captain Stacy, Green Goblin, the drug issues, right? If you knew about that stuff. Norman Osborn revealed. All those are just in this one. Now, that's just 21 to 100. Okay, you ready for this?
Go for it.
You know, it takes a second here. I got to do all the crap. It takes like 7 things I got to do. Then I got to go to StreamYard. Then add it to stage. Boom. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's half the price.
Yeah, but it's a straight run now. Now you can bid on 21 to 193 straight through, JT. Straight through. And this is why it's so insane, because this particular run of 100 or 101 to 200, right, has 2 key issues. One of which is the Punisher. That damn thing, JT, by itself in good condition or fine or even very good.
Yeah.
If you get it anywhere near mint, you're paying thousands.
Sure.
Just for that one. Somebody brought up Morbius. I'm a Morbius fan. I actually have that run. We might do that run because we got to talk about that later. 101 is the Morbius key issue. They have both of those in a straight run. So now imagine, JT, you can get all the way, was it 21 or 23? 23, right? 23 to 193. Straight run. Right?
Sure.
But wait, there's more. Give me a sec. Hold on to your horses. You guys seeing this, buddy? This is insane. This is insane what's going on here. I've seen them do this, but not like this. You ready, JT?
Sure.
Look at that.
Oh, wow. But I see the higher up you go, the lower the price gets.
It's the key issues.
Yeah.
But remember, this doesn't even end till Sunday. It's only freaking Wednesday night. The first run, I guarantee you, probably hit 8,000.
Wow.
But now, JT, you can get 23 or 2023 to 299. And there's a reason why he stopped at 299. Take a wild guess.
It's 300 to 500 or something.
300 is a key issue.
Yeah.
So now there's a bunch of key issues in here, but not as prevalent. I actually have these, but to 299. I don't think I have 300 because I couldn't afford it at the time. At the time, it wasn't offered.
Right.
But wait, there's more. What I told you guys, this was insane. I wasn't effing around. Check this out. I need to have checkout music. Check this out music. You ready, JT?
Go for it.
Buddy, everybody?
Yeah, 300 to 400.
There you go. That's the McFarlane, and you get 300 in it, and it's graded. That's the only problem with this one, though. It is graded. You can tell there. Oops, sorry. I can pull this up here. There we go. There we go. So, as you can see there, 300 is graded, right?
Yeah.
What's it graded at, though? I can't tell. What's it say?
You'd have to click on the image, keep it there, and make it bigger. Yeah. Got to go up. Up.
There we go. Oh,
7.5.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad for a 300 at 1,000, 300 to 400, which I don't have. If my situation was different, I would try to get these. But to be honest with you, I'd probably take a loan out right now and try to get the other ones.
Oh, no.
Well, here's the thing. I have a lot of other things I can sell to make up for it that I know are worth a certain amount. Yeah, buddy. See, look what Buddy's saying here.
Right. That's why I wouldn't go on a 7.5. Because the 9s are like, yeah.
What you do with the 7.5 is I can't afford the 9s, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get a 7.5, and then you go buy a reader copy, which is still going to cost you some money. But JT, when you go to sell it, if you ever sell it or you give it away, right? Which most people would do. They give it to family or their kids and stuff like that, right? For this kind of thing. Is that, it all depends on how you look at it. If you're keeping it, you get a reader copy, a shitty reader copy, like a 2 or a 3, or at least it's not falling apart, right? But the resale value on the fact that you have a 7.5 and a reader copy, I'm telling you, that sells. It's already 1,000 anyway. See what I mean?
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. There's more, dude. I told you this was insane, right?
Oh, you're sharing my screen.
I'm sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, there you go. There's Rippaverse, everybody.
Yeah. So if we wanted to shift away from Spider-Man here,
I got one more. One
okay.
more. Because it all adds up, right?
Yeah.
So check this out. Now, JT,
400 to 700. Yeah.
you can get 23 to 700 all at one shot.
If you've got that kind of cash rolling around.
Well, right now you're at 5,000 plus, 2,000 plus.
You're looking at about 13 if you were to
I wouldn't
win all of these the current amount.
I wouldn't even spend the money on the 400 one right now, right? I could care less. So if you went to 23 to 400, you're looking at 5,000 plus, 2,000 plus. So almost 8, then 1,000. So you're at 9. You're just sort of $10,000 right now.
Yeah.
And it's only Wednesday. And it's all because of those freaking key issues, dude. But here's the thing. My true diehard collectors would say, well, I always had fun trying to find issues, going to Comic-Cons and all that. And I said, that's fine if that's where you wound up at that time of your life, that you had a 200 to 300, but you were missing 3 or 4 issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially the Punisher issue. Now, JT, the problem with that is you got to figure out how much you're going to spend on what kind of grade for Punisher, which is almost, without 101, worth the whole run.
Right.
Because Buddy knows damn well that Punisher, and everybody else who's in the chat knows damn well a good Punisher is going to cost you 2,000.
Right.
Easily, dude. The Punisher in itself keeps me from even getting that run. Right, JT? I'm being serious.
Yeah.
If the Punisher in itself keeps me from getting that whole run. But if you were to tell me that I could sell some stuff that I got laying around for easily right now, several grand, and that I could pick, well, that depends if I win.
I don't think you would win them all. That's the problem.
Well,
I doubt you would win them all
unless
you overspent.
Well, here's the thing about the auctions on eBay, and I talked about this on Mark's channel Sunday night. There's something that's really, really good and something that's kind of bad. The good part is this. First, you have to decide which run do you want the most, no matter what the money is, right? If I tell myself I want that 300 to 400 because I can't afford the other one, but then you tell yourself, I have a chance to get 23 to 900 to 100 something. I'm going to sell some things, right? And then I'm going to bid whatever 8,000, right? Because the chances of you being able to get this would only be on a website like this, because I've ordered from them before, and they pretty accurate, and they show a close up of 50. 50 is not that good a condition as you think it is.
Right.
But the point being is you have it, and good luck trying to get it, like everybody else is saying, at a decent price, especially when somebody's selling it by itself. The better the condition, the higher it is, right? So you get the whole run. That's to get Amazing Spider-Man as low as 23 to 100 or 99, whatever it is. Doesn't come around very often, although these people have done it before. They did a Fantastic Four one time, 23 to like 110. And I think it went for $4 or $5 grand, $6 grand. Because that has Black Panther in it too, right? But it's the chance to get any of these kind of runs at that low at all, right? Picking up some of these issues by themselves, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of them will cost you even more than the $5 grand. So this is easily, it should easily go from the 23 to 400. I'll be surprised if it doesn't go over 10. Right, JT? What do you think?
I have no guess. I don't know.
Well, the first run's over 5,000 already. The second run's over 2,000. So you're at almost 7,000 plus, not counting 300 to 400, which is another 1,000. So you're at $8,000 already, and it's only Wednesday. You're over $8,000. So those without this one is easily going to cost you $10,000.
Yeah.
If you sold some stuff like I could for 2,000 to 3,000, and I remember I already have the 200 to 300 or 299, right, JT? So I don't have to spend money on that. You got to keep that in mind. So I already have one of the 3 runs. If I had a different situation in life right now, I probably would try.
Well, like I said, it's best to save right now because you never know what's going on with the economy and the pricing on everything. So,
yeah,
best to sit.
Yeah, it's just that people are in shock that you can get this, right? 5, 6, 7. It should go easily $6-7 grand.
Oh yeah, yeah. If not far more.
Night will be interesting. Hopefully, I'll remember to bring it up on Mark's channel and we'll watch it. We'll watch it live to see what it goes.
Right.
But what do you think about this stuff?
Oh, the Rippaverse?
Yeah.
So buddy, this is something that I would maybe point you or Dave to, somebody who hasn't gotten into any of the different series, and I think they're up to 7 or 8 now. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. It's getting to be enough different comic runs that I am having trouble keeping all in my head. But this right here is the hardcover limited print run. They do have a soft cover that's half the price. If you really aren't sure, but I have the hardcover. Huh?
What is the Trinity?
Sure. Yeah, I was going to get to that in just once. Yeah.
Sorry.
So I have the hardcover, and it's beautiful quality, delivered without any blemishes. But it's also, this doesn't really show it. It's also somewhat holographic on the front. And what this is in the top here, you have ISOM. So it's ISOM number 1. The group in the middle is the Alpha Core team. They are, so Alpha Core number 1. And then this is Yaira down here at the bottom of there in blue, in gray. Okay, so it's Yaira number 1.
So that's ISOM. Who's in? Okay, so from left to right in front of ISOM.
That's the Alpha Core team.
That's the Alpha Core team. All 3 of them. I couldn't even tell until I put my glasses on there.
Oh yeah, and then
that's Yaira at the bottom.
Yes, okay, and gotcha. So you have Chuck Dixon, Eric July, the Saska sisters, Cliff Richards, and oh gosh, I want to say Tony Bennett, but I know it's not Tony Bennett. Anyway, so some big names in here.
Oh, that's
the way that these read. You go ISOM, Alpha Core, then Yaira. And ISOM is kind of like a former superhero who hung up the cape, and he's like a businessman. And it starts off with his sister asking him for help, right, to investigate the disappearance of his daughter. So he kind of has to take the mantle back on reluctantly. He gets into a fight very early on, and he runs into Alpha Core and Yaira for like 5 pages. But you do get that introduced. So then the next book is the Alpha Core, where
They're
you
friends,
learn.
though, right? They're all friends.
They don't really know who each other are right now.
Okay.
But so this team, Alpha Core, are kind of like the X-Men. Super ability mutant type people, but they're more the police department than whatever the X-Men want to be, depending on what you watch, right? Yeah. So the guy in the middle here is the leader, and there's some tension with the crew and different stuff like that. But they apprehend bad guys. So Yaira at the beginning ends up fighting Isom because they kind of bump into each other. And he gets mad because she bumped into him. She gets mad because he bumped into her, kind of a thing. But they don't fight for too long. And then you get a whole book about her backstory, which is book number 1. So a lot of action in there. Unfortunately, there are not sample pages that I could show you. But if you're wondering if even 45 is too much, well, you are getting 310 pages plus a few more pages of concept art.
Dude, yeah, that's 300 pages.
Yeah,
Okay.
like each one of these is 100. Like each, you wonder, okay, well, how is he charging $25 for a comic or $18 for a comic? These things are like 60 to 100 pages each. So,
you mean it's not 14 pages?
No.
No.
So,
Okay.
buddy, I would say if you weren't sure, you start off with maybe the soft cover of this. I will say that Isom was the very first book. I'm not as big a fan of the art as I am by the time they do Alpha Core number 1 or Yaira number 1. And so just think of it that way. Isom number 1 is kind of like their pilot book that they launched the whole universe with. And I think they were still kind of figuring out the art level on that. So, yeah, that's kind of my pitch on if you want to get into these comics. Small, made in the USA kind of group. Eric July answered some questions on X on are my prices going up? And he said on the books, no, because the printer is in the US. So
nice.
That's another
nice wow,
thing,
you found a printer, huh?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I know, right? But 9 by 12 pages, it's not a small book. You're not straining. And I just like the hardcover because, I don't know, it feels like a legit book at that point, right? So I'm currently reading Isom number 2, which is not in this. But yeah. So I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. But if you are interested, that would be the best place to go.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, this one is not out yet. Zalen is not out yet. They're on Isom number 3, which I have. This is a new one, The Great War of Separation, where Texas breaks off in kind of a mutant battle. Yaira number 3 is actually on pre-order right now. So that's just the recent stuff. But yeah, so there's that one's coming out in the future. This Blood Ruth is really cool. Gooding is actually my favorite.
What is the Gooding one about?
Gooding. So Gooding, if you see him kind of here in the bottom, that's his suit that he wears, putting out fires up there. But he is a child prodigy, and he grows up into a genius. He gets like a scholarship to go study at a prestigious math and science school. And then he makes like $1 million a year or something. I mean, he's ridiculously wealthy, but he invents things for this company. The funniest thing he invented was when people are blasting their subs in their car next to you, he had a device that would turn off their speaker system. So you wouldn't be annoyed. Yeah.
Wow.
Just like funny, random, weird stuff like that too. But he also knows like quantum mechanics and material sciences and So he's kind of Tony Starking it up a little bit. But I wouldn't say he's a Tony Stark ripoff or anything like that. He's definitely unique. So that's always a cool thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
So Norfolka, this one, there's no way that's out yet. Yeah, they have stuff that's not out yet. This is not out yet. That's not out yet. But
Great
this
War
is going to.
Celebration. I think Nick and them might have been talking about that.
Yeah, Norfolka is coming soon. Maybe not so soon. Announcement trailer. Yeah, that's all they have. But these are supposed to be like demigod type people. Yeah, TBA. It hasn't been colored yet. So yeah, it's just a lot of cool stuff. I wish there was more page previews that I could like show off. The Horseman, I have that.
What's the
I've not read it yet. The Horseman, I think it's supposed to be like ultra violent. So don't quote me on that because I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
But if you look at Yaira number 2, that cover, what I like is he does a mass print reader cover, which is always cover D. And then he'll do a limited run A and B and C. And the C is always holographic and embossed. So that's the one that usually always costs the most. But the thing that I like are these B covers that have like the old school type in it, you know, like you'd find on a stand or a rack somewhere. But yeah. Cool. So anyway, I just wanted to show that off because I know people have been talking about them a lot. I like that cover.
Definitely, dude. Ooh,
so anyway,
I like that one. Yeah. I like the A. I like the A cover on that.
The A cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Saska sisters are pretty sweet. They're on X all the time and they like my comments. So they're just positive people. It's fun. So anyway, nice. I'll stop sharing. I think we've given the folks enough to think about.
Yes.
And I'm not so mad anymore after what happened to our Black Panther. We talked about enough other stuff. I'm not as angry anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. How do you call it? Not de-escalate, but not defend.
No, you de-stressed.
Bouncing it off something else. Something. I can't remember. Gosh. Anyway. Oh, excuse me. What do you got going on?
Let's see. Friday, I'll try to be on with Mark. I know sometimes it's a little difficult with schedule. But then Saturday, I'll be on Saturday Night Start. Well, I'll be doing Star Trek with Admiral Teague on his channel at 9:45 Eastern.
Nice.
We'll go through another episode in season 2 of Star Trek Enterprise.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Very cool. You're sticking with that then.
Yep. Nice. I don't think we're detouring on anything else. So.
Nice. Yeah, I'm doing a Casablanca watch party tomorrow at 9. We'll start a little early because it's not bloody, gory stuff like Spawn.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Spawn? And then that's it. Maybe cool. Friday night, Fortnite, maybe. And then hopefully Geekery with Mark on Sunday at 10. So we'll see about that one as well. Probably that one. So other than that,
cool.
That is pretty much it. And thank you for hanging out.
Sounds good.
Say hi to Buddy, FKHC 2005. JT, for you, thanks for hanging out as always.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
And even RTNZ showed up. My rugby dude from Wales. And Lady V stopped in tonight and said hello. So that was very nice. And I always appreciate that. But without further ado, we will say goodnight and we will see you next week for only 2 more issues, man.
All right. Sounds good. See you, everyone.
We'll cross our fingers and see how they go. Oh, and why am I getting it?
Oh, and Phantom Outsider. Thanks for dropping in.
Oh, Fanning dropped in?
Yeah. He said he was too tired to chat. But hey,
no
thanks for listening. We do appreciate
Thanks for
it.
lurking.
So.
Gotta love you lurkers, dude. I love lurking. I do it all the time. Anyway, all right. Good night.